You know the crazy thing about Nonito Donaire? He's a champion right now. He's a champion who is set to defend. The guy is 39 years of age. The guy is a bantamweight. He has shipped losses. He got badly stopped against Nicholas Walters back in 2014. I thought that was the end. Here we are 7 years later. And he is somehow stabilised. Not at his prime anymore, not in the top 5 pound for pound as he was 10 years ago, but somehow has found some form by dropping quite drastically in weight later in his career. Now that usually spells disaster. Somehow the Filipino Flash has pulled this off. Look at what happened to Chris Bird when he dropped back down to light heavyweight. Punch resistance went completely. The amount of shots that Donaire took against Inoue, that proved in itself, this guy still has something to offer. And he is set for an all-Filipino clash against the undefeated Reymart Gaballo. But the real question is, should Reymart Gaballo still be undefeated? That fight against Emmanuel Rodriguez, I would have to say it, was a robbery. A lot of people like to use the word when a close fight didn't go the way they wanted it to. But that was a robbery. What do I mean by that? I mean you can't make it a draw. Only one guy could win. Rodriguez, though he was a little bit negative at times, perhaps understandably because of what had happened to him in his previous fight, and he was facing a puncher again, still, he was the only guy who was landing the clean shots. He was the only guy to jar the opponent, knock him on his heels. He definitely won, and they took it away from him. I think that's a real shame for him in his career when he needed that little pick-me-up. Now, for Gaballo, did he learn from that experience? Has he learned to be a little bit more patient? Maybe use the jab a bit more? Maybe not lunge in with that right hand, which of course is going to give Donaire that opportunity to land the counter hook. Although, ironically, I would tell Gaballo, if I was in his corner, to have a little early pop. Test those old reflexes. When the nervous system isn't warmed up. These days, Donaire's head stays in the centre a little bit longer than it used to. Try and rush him. Not perhaps right off the bat, just have a little feel out with the jab, but then make your move. See how he reacts when he's not fully warmed up. Try and dump him on the seat of his pants. Try and get a psychological edge straight away. And the other reason I say that is because when you're facing somebody who has got you for experience by such a tremendous amount, you don't want to give that person the time to establish your rhythms, to identify your bad habits. Someone like Donaire, he might not be as sharp as he used to, but if you give him the opportunity to see what you don't do well, by rounds 3 and 4, he will completely hone in on that. Christ, look what he did to Inoue's cheekbone in round 2 of their fight. This guy has unbelievable power at 118 pounds. He has cracked bones more than once. I've said before, out of many fighters I watch, Donaire's power genuinely disturbs me. Gaballo does not want to give him the opportunity. Not when he's at such a deficit when it comes to technical ability. So if Reymart Gaballo has indeed learnt from his fight with Emmanuel Rodriguez, he should have learnt to pace himself a little bit better, to use the jab, to know how to approach you with a little bit more creativity. This is a guy who runs at you with his right hand cocked. I've seen this in pretty much all his fights, and it's something he desperately needs to do away with. Donaire will hone in on that like it's a Christmas turkey. If you're going to show him the shot, Wilder style, then throw it, he will come over with a left hook, and you will be done. Gaballo is going to have to maybe start with an early rush, go to the body, use his size and youth that the likes of an Abali didn't have to try and get it going for him. If that doesn't work, he's in real trouble. There's only so many changes you can make to a guy within such a short space of time. The likelihood is the difference in experience is going to be the difference. Donaire is going to hone in on those mistakes, and boy, he has got a lot to hone in on. Gaballo just seems to have youth, a bit of a punch, and just being plain old eager. That is not enough to beat Donaire, not unless the old cliche comes to pass and he gets old overnight. It might not be early, like it was with Abali. It might be a little bit later, but I've got to believe that left hook is going to land. And when it does, good night. But what do we make of this fight? I heard some people say in Donaire's last fight that he was weight bullying. This weird theory some fans have, that if you're able to make a weight while retaining certain physical advantages, you're a weight bully. Now, Donaire is a bit bigger at 118. He was noticeably bigger than Inoue and clearly bigger than Abali, who some people said he bullied. I don't know, it's just how it is. If you can fight at the weight, then I guess it's cool, right? Now, bantamweight has promised a lot of great fights. Donaire, Casemiro fell apart because of bickering. Before that, Casemiro Inoue, which COVID derailed. We're still waiting for an undisputed champion at 118, which the odds would say would be Inoue if just things would move along quick enough. But hey, at least we're getting another alright fight before the year's over, in a year where so many fights have come undone because of either injuries or COVID. The question is, will the Filipino flash become old overnight?